the working principle of bottom-up passing. Okay, so what happens when you use a bottom-up passer, right? So basically, if you look at the top-down passing, usually in top-down passing we start with the start symbol of the grammar, and we'll try to expand it. Okay, something like this. E is expanded with E plus N, then this E is expanded with N, so that you will get N plus N, the required string. Okay, this approach, if you work like this approach is called top down. Okay, top down approach, right? We'll start with E, we'll expand E with one of its production rule. Likewise, we'll expand the E symbols, okay, until we get the terminal string. Okay. But in bottom up passing, we'll follow the reverse process. Okay, we'll follow the reverse process. In bottom up passing, what we'll do is first we'll start with the terminal string. We're not starting with the start symbol of the grammar, rather we are starting with the terminal string. And we'll try to reduce the terminal string. Okay, in one or more steps we'll try to reduce the terminal string to the starting symbol of the grammar. Okay, so if you're able to do that, then we can say the string is a valid string. We are following the reverse approach. There in top-down passing, we are expanding the non-terminals. Okay, here in bottom-up passing, we'll try to reduce the terminal string to the start symbol of the grammar. Okay, so let me explain it with an example. Right, let us consider the same grammar. We'll be using the same grammar. Let me take the input symbol, input string n plus n. Okay, let me start with n plus n. We'll be starting with n plus n. Now, in bottom-up passing, the very important step in bottom-up passing is you need to identify the portion of the string that exactly matches with the one of the right-hand sides of the production rule. Okay, as you can see here, n plus n. If you take n plus n, it doesn't match with any one of the production rules, the right hand side of the production rules. Like if you take E derives E plus n not matches with the n plus n, or E derives n does not match with n plus n. So what you have to do? You have to identify the portion of the string, a substring, okay, which exactly matches with the current, exactly matches with one of the production rules of the grammar. Okay, so that substring, identification of that substring is very crucial. That exactly matches with one of the right hand sides of the production rule is the crucial thing here. Okay, that substring is often said to be handle. Okay, now see, I'm not considering the entire string, I'm considering only this portion, only this n. Okay, the first n exactly matches with the right hand side of the second rule. E derives, and there is a production rule, E derives n, no? So what we have to do is we have to reduce this n with E. Okay, this is my first step, right? So what I did here, I have identified a substring called n that exactly matches with one of the right hand sides of the production rule. So if that is the case, what we have to do? We have to reduce. Here the step is called reduce. We are reducing n with its corresponding left hand side non-terminal. In the production rule, E derives n, the left hand side non-terminal is E. That means the right hand side terminal is going to be reduced to E. Okay, we are condensing it. Right, now see, after this step we are left with E and N. Okay. Now we have E plus N. This N is reduced to E. Now this E plus N, if you consider this entire string as a substring or the handle, then this E plus N exactly matches with the first production rule. That means this entire thing can be reduced to E. Okay. Now compare these two. This is the top-down approach and this is the bottom-up approach. Okay. We are able to getting the same kind of derivation. We got the same pass tree. Okay. In the top-down passing, we get the similar pass tree. Here also we are getting the similar pass tree. Right. Now what we did here, we have taken this string and we tried to reduce it to E, the starting symbol of the grammar. If you are able to do so, then we can say n plus n, the given string, is a valid string. If you are able to reduce the given string into its starting symbol by one or more reductions, okay, then it is said to be bottom of passing, and the string is said to be valid string. Valid string. Usually, the bottom of passing techniques are more powerful, okay, than the top-down passing techniques. Okay, the reason behind this is for bottom of passing, ambiguity is not a problem in bottom of passing. Left recursion is not a problem. Left factoring is not a problem. Okay, so that means we can construct. I mean, the bottom of passes which can pass ambiguous grammars, left recursive grammars, and those grammars which can be which cannot be passed with the top-down passers can be passed by using the bottom of passes. So that is the reason why we can say bottom of passing is more powerful than the top-down passing. Now we'll get into the actual content. Okay, I hope you understand the concept of bottom of passing, the working principle. Okay, so the important thing here is we need to identify the handle at the right time. Okay, so right handle at the right time, that is a crucial thing. For example, let us consider the same string again, n plus n. Instead of reducing this first n, leftmost n, let me reduce this rightmost n. If I reduce this to E, then what happens? This string will become n plus E. This n plus E does not match with any of the right hand side production rules of the grammar. That means there is no chance of reducing this to E. Okay, this will fail, right? So what I mean to say here is, if you identify the right handle, then only it leads to the starting symbol of the grammar. Then only you can reduce it to the starting symbol of the grammar, right? So the identification of the handle is a crucial thing here, right? So that can be done through the table-driven process. We'll be using passing stacks. Whenever a handle is exposed on top of the stack, we're going to reduce it. That we will see in a short while of time, right? So this process, the process of identifying the right handles and reduce them to their corresponding left hand side non-terminals, ultimately that leads to the next step. The next step, until we reduce it to the start symbol of the grammar, is said to be the process. The process of identifying the handles in such a way that they leads to the start symbol of the grammar is said to be handle pruning. Handle pruning. Okay, the process of reducing a terminal string by means of identifying the handles to its previous sentential form until we get the start symbol of the grammar. The process is called handle pruning, right? Now we'll get into the actual content. Right. So let me share my presentation. Bottom of passing. Yeah. Yes. Constructs parse tree from an input string beginning at the leaves and working towards the root, the top. Okay. As I explained just now, we start with the input string. Okay. We start with the input string and working towards the root, right? As you can see here, id into id is the given string, and this is the given grammar. In bottom of parsing, let's see what happens in bottom of parsing. Right. So first we'll reduce id with f. Why? Because we have a production rule, f derives id. This id exactly matches with f, no? So we have reduced it to f. Then that f exactly matches with one of the t's production rules, t with f. Okay, that is the reason why f is reduced to t. Now see, then we have this f, the second f is reduced to, I mean this second id is reduced to f. Then this t star f exactly matches with what? T, sorry, f. T star f exactly matches with f. Then this f can be reduced to e. Why? Because we have a production rule e to t and t to f. Actually there is a step, one step is missed here. E to, I mean t to f, then t to e. Okay, right? So this is how it will work, right? Next we'll see a set of bottom up passes, right? In this sequence you will learn a sophisticated bottom up parsers called shift reduce parsers. Okay, so actually there are 4 shift reduce parsers: LR0, SLR1, LR1, or CLR1. We often call it as CLR1, and LALR1, LALR1. Okay. So these are the shift reduce parsers that we are going to study. Actually, in bottom up parsing, we'll have two types of parsers. One is operator precedence parsing. The other one is set of LR parsers. Okay, these set of LR parsers are often known as shift reduce parsers. Why? Because we'll perform two basic operations: shift and reduce, right? So the general idea behind shift reduce parsers is to shift some symbols of input to the stack until a reduction can be applied. Okay. So here what happens is we'll keep on inserting the current input symbols onto the stack until we identify the right handle on top of the stack. Okay, until a reduction can be applied. When we can apply a reduction? Whenever we identify a handle, then only we can, whenever we identify a right handle, then only we can apply the reduction. Okay, so until we get the right handle on top of the stack, we have to keep on moving the symbols from input buffer to the stack, onto the stack. So once we get the handle on top of the stack, we'll try to reduce it with the its corresponding left hand side non-terminal. Okay, that is the process, right? So that is the reason why, so this is the key thing here, that is the reason why we are shifting the symbols onto the stack. Then we will perform, after some time, once we identify the handle, we'll perform the reduce action. Okay, these are the two main actions: shift your symbols until you find the handle, then perform the reduction operation. Okay, that is the reason why they're often known as shift reduce parsers. Shift reduce parsers. So along with these shift reduce actions, we have two more actions. That is, one is error, the other one is accept. Right? Reduce and accept. We often use these two actions also. So let us see the procedure first. At each reduction step, a specific substring matching the body of a production is replaced by the non-terminal at the head of the production. Okay, that means whenever a substring matches with n, then if there is an n on top of the stack, this n matches with any of the production rules, the right hand sides of any of the given production rules, then we'll reduce that n with the left hand side non-terminal. What is the left hand side non-terminal here? E. That means we are going to pop off this n and we are going to push e on top of the stack. That means we have reduced n to e. So we have performed the reduction step here. So the key decisions during bottom-up parsing are about when to reduce. This is the important thing. When to reduce and what production to apply. Okay. The key thing is when to identify the handle and when to perform the reduction. That too, what production rule we have to use, which production rule we have to use while doing the reduction. Say suppose if a particular non-terminal is having more than one choice, more than one production rule, if that is the case, we don't know whether we have to apply the first rule or the second rule. That also we need to decide. I mean, the parser has to decide, yes, this particular instance of time, I have to use this symbol, or I have to use this production rule. I have to go for reducing this particular production rule. Let me give you a small example here. Let us consider the same grammar. E derives e plus n, or n. Okay. Let us assume a situation in which you have on top of the stack you have something like n plus c. Okay. Now if you observe here, this the current top of the stack string, that is n plus c, that exactly matches with this expression, and also this part, if you take this portion n, that exactly matches with the second production rule. Okay. If that is the case, the parser is in dilemma whether it has to apply the reduction step with the second rule or with the first rule. Okay. So here we need to here we need to apply the correct rule. Okay, the correct rule which produce the next right sentential form that ultimately leads to the reduction of the starting symbol, reduction to the starting symbol. Okay, so that is the crucial thing here. That is the crucial thing, right? We need to identify the right step, right handle, and we need to identify the right production rule to replace that the handle that we identified. Okay, right? So that is the reason why this a reduction is a reverse of a step in derivation. Okay, there in top-down parsing we are expanding. Okay, here we are doing it in a reverse order. It's a reverse of a step in derivation. So the goal of bottom-up parser is to construct a derivation tree in reverse. Okay, so if you trace down the steps that we applied in bottom-up parsing, they always give you a leftmost derivative tree in reverse order. Okay, if you trace down the steps of this shift reduce parsing of any shift reduce parser, if you trace down the steps, that will give you the leftmost derivative tree in reverse order. Reverse order. Okay, so that is the reason why often these shift reduce parsers are called LR parsers. LR parsers. Oh, sorry, this is rightmost derivative tree. Rightmost derivative tree. Sorry, rightmost derivative tree in reverse order. Okay, often they are called as LR parsers. Okay, uh, LR parsers. The L here refers to the left to right scan of the input, left to right scan of the input, and R refers to rightmost derivation in reverse order. Usually LL1 parsers, the top down parsers will give you leftmost derivative tree, and LR parsers at the bottom of parsers will give you the rightmost derivative tree in reverse order, in reverse order, reverse order, right? Okay, I hope you got my point. Now let us move on to the next concept. Okay, so as I told you, handle pruning is a process of identifying a substring called handle. Handle is a substring that matches the body of a production and whose reduction presents one step along the reverse of a rightmost derivation. Okay.
내가 듣는다. 맞아. 이것도 상관없는 거. 말이 테디 베어, 스타र 베어.
Hello.
केवरन सारा कापी डालो फेंक.
Hello. Yes. Somebody is speaking. Some noise is coming from your side. Okay. So as you can see here, right sentential form ID into ID. The handle that we have identified here is ID. Okay. Here ID is the handle. Now we are reducing that to F. F to ID. That means ID is reduced to F. Then in the next case, this F is reduced to T. Then in the next case, the second ID is reduced to F. And finally, we are reducing this to E. T star F is reduced to E. If E happens to be the starting symbol of the grammar, then we can say this right sentential form ID into ID is a valid string. Valid string. So this process is called handle pruning. Handle pruning. Okay. Now let us see how it happens in shift reduce parsers. Okay, how to identify the handles and how to proceed. Right. So let me take the same grammar and let us consider the same input string that we have seen that we did with the top-down parsing. Let us see the working principle now of the shift reduce parsers. Okay. So here also you'll be having something like a stack, parsing stack. Our input is n+1. This is also table driven parser. Shift reduce parsers also table driven parsers. But here we will be having not LL1 predictive parsing table, we'll be having LR parsing tables. LR parsing tables. Okay. These LR parsing tables will guide the parser driver routine to take the right parsing step. Okay. Now let us see how it happens. Right. Initially, we start with the empty stack. Initially, we push dollar on top of the stack, and the input in input buffer followed by dollar. Okay, as you can see here, W is the input followed by dollar. So when we say accept when the stack contains S and the input pointer points to dollar. After completely processing the string, input string, if your stack contains S, where S is the start symbol of the grammar, then we can say then we can say the given string W is a valid string. That means we have reduced W to S. We have started with this initial configuration. After one or more reduction steps, we come to this acceptance configuration. Okay, so whenever you will come to this step, you have to stop. Okay, the passing process must stop at this configuration. Okay, if you're S on top of the stack and you're done with your input, then we can say we are done. I mean, the passing process is over, right? Now let us see. Now we have n plus n. I'm considering the same grammar. Please remember, please recall the same grammar. E derives e plus n or n. Okay, we have only two production rules here. Now this is my input. Now in left recursive passes or the shift reduce passing, what we'll do is whenever we see an input, we'll shift it onto the stack. So n, okay, n is shifted onto the stack. Advance your read head so that it points to the next input symbol. Next we have plus. Okay, next we have plus. Now we need to decide whether we have to shift plus onto the stack or do something else, right? Now that decision comes from the LR passing table. LR passing table. Okay, based on the current configuration of the stack and the current input symbol, the passing table will guide you, will guide the parser whether it has to go for reduction or go for shift action. But let us assume there is a reduction action available on the LR parser at this juncture of the time. Okay, if that is the case, what happens is this n can be reduced to e. Why? Because there is a because of the second production rule, n can be reduced to e. So what I'm doing here is pop off this n, reduce it with e. I have applied the second rule, right? Now after that, after this reduction, let me shift some more items. I mean, the plus is there now, that is the next input symbol. Insert plus onto the stack. Now advance your read head. Now we are exposed to, I mean, we are supposed to read this n, the second n, shift that onto the stack. Now we are advance your read head. Now we have e plus n on top of the stack, e plus n. Okay, that exactly matches with the right hand side of this production rule, first production rule. Now what you have to do, you have to reduce it with e, okay. Now let us see. Now e on top of the stack, we come to this situation, the acceptance configuration. E on top of the stack and your read head points to $, the right hand input marker. That is an indication that we are done. We have successfully passed the given input string n plus n. N plus n is successfully reduced to e. Okay, right? So hence we can say n plus n is a valid string. Okay, here also the important thing is how to construct this LR passing table. This is the crucial one. Whether we have to go for shift or reduction, that decision comes from the LR passing table only. Okay, so that is the important thing. So in the subsequent classes, right? So in the next coming classes, we'll see the various kinds of shift reduce parsers, and all these shift reduce parsers, I mean, the working principle is same. They only differ in their passing table construction process. Okay, so that means LR0 passing table is different. The construction of LR0 passing table is different from the rest of the LR parsers like SLR1, CLR1, and LALR1, like that. So when it comes to the power, since we are running short of time, let me summarize the LR parsers. In the next class, we'll see the actual construction process. We have 4 types of LR parsers. LR parses. As far as the power is concerned, LR0 is less efficient than SLR1, right? SLR1 is somewhat less efficient than CLR1. CLR1 and the next parser, that is LALR1, they are equal in power. These two are equal in power, CLR1 and LALR1, but LALR1 is compact version of CLR1, okay, or we can say optimized version of CLR1. Okay, we'll have less number of steps in LALR1 when compared to CLR1. As far as the power is concerned, both can pass almost all context free grammars, but when it comes to the size of the passing table, usually the LALR1 passing table is less when compared usually it has less number of states when compared to the its corresponding CLR1 passing table. Okay, right? So the time is not sufficient to proceed further, so that's it for today. If you have any doubts, you can ask now.